Hi everyone, welcome to the third VIROO webinar that I'm doing. First of all, sorry about the time. I scheduled the webinar before we changed the summertime. So I scheduled it for 1 CET and then LinkedIn changed it to 12 CET. Sorry about that, but we are here and today we have a lot of things to see. So I'll try to be quick in some aspects because I want to make like a brief demo at the end and let's see how amount of interactions I can create. So in the first webinar, I talk about what is VIROO. And remember, it's the only XR platform you'll ever need if you want to integrate your XR into your work processes among all your organization. If you want to take value or take advantage of XR, you only need to use VIROO because it's going to be useful across all your value chains. In the second webinar, we talk about the VIROO apps. I make like a demo, a quick demo of what VIROO apps we have in the catalog. And also I talk about VIROO Studio, how you can create custom content for VIROO if you don't want to use any of the VIROO apps that are available. And today what I want to do is I want to show you VIROO Studio again, but in particular VIROO Lab. VIROO Lab is the sample scene that we have that includes all the predefined components that we have created, so people without having any coding skills can create any application they want. And then after, with the time that probably is left, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I'll try to make some interactions using some of those predefined components so you can have a better understanding how to use them and how easy it is if you invest a little bit of time to create content and create powerful apps tailor-made to your specific needs, okay? If that sounds good, remember that you can ask any questions in the chat. I have a second screen here so I can have a look at the chat from time to time. And let's jump in because we have many things to see. So first of all, remember, VIROO Studio in particular is all Unity-based. So we are not forcing developers to learn another environment or content creation environment. If you know how to use Unity, you are going to feel right at home, because when you download VIROO Studio, it's simply a Unity project that you can just open, and it includes several predefined components and all the things that is going to make the multi-user and the multi-device compatibility work well. And that's the advantage. Even if you are an advanced developer, you can still use VIROO and forget about all that complexity. And that's the value that VIROO has. And if you are not a programmer, you can create content that in no other way you could be able to create. So let me just jump into VIROOLab. I'm going to put the full screen here. I'm going to make like a quick demo of all the predefined components that we have. And remember, these are C# components that we at VirtualWare have developed for you and that already tested and prepared to work with VIROO flawlessly. And the idea is that you can just have a look at what components you have, which ones you can use, and apply them to your own custom content. So you can even go to a particular object and see how it's configured. If you are not remember to do something, you can always look at the example to fix it, or you can just copy and paste it in your own project and then change the 3D model to work. So in this case, I didn't remember that I have the VR mode enabled. Since I have my headset here, I need to restart Unity again, sorry about that. I have my VR headset here because I want to show you how it works also with the headset. But I launched Unity before connecting to the headset, that's why it crashes. So let me just open the project again. Sorry about that. That's why I always want to be quick, because I know that these things can happen live. So it will take just a matter of a minute to open it again. This is something pretty good as well. You can even test your VR content inside Unity. You don't need to export the full application, upload it to the VIROO cloud, and then test it out in the headset every iteration. You just can activate the checkbox that I'm going to show you right now and allow the VR mode to be activated. So you can test it with your Quest, with your Pico, with your HTC, whatever mainstream headset you have connected to your laptop. You can test it out while you are creating. And you can even have a look if all the scales and the proportions of your 3D elements are good. So probably I'm going to take like some couple of minutes after the webinar to compensate this. When I'm sharing my screen, I'm in a laptop, I'm also using the webcam. It could take a little bit longer to load, but normally it doesn't take that long, okay? So the idea is, as you can see, I have here SteamVR. You can use SteamVR Virtual Desktop is the one that I'm using right now, or you can use just your Quest link to connect the headset to the laptop. So that's not from VIROO. No matter which way you want to use in order to connect your headset, VIROO is going to work with it. So I'm going to go to Window, VIROO. This is the VIROO plugin that we provide, which includes the VIROO application publisher, and also that you can change some settings. This is the one that I'm going to check right now. I'm going to go here to Bootstrap Mock, and I'm going to de-enable EaseVR enable. Okay, so now I can test my content using my 2D screen. And this is another, remember, another good thing about VIROO. We know that many people doesn't still own a headset yet. So if you don't, you can just join the sessions as you are going to see right now. You can use your keyboard and mouse in a flat 2D screen, but you can be actively participating in the session. So you are not just looking at the content, you can interact with the content. So let's just go to show you some of the examples, some of the predefined components that we have. In this case, we have the socket interactor, which is a component that will allow you to grab an object and place it in a particular space, and it's going to be automatically placed there. Okay, you don't need to be precise, it's going to be automatically moved there, so it stays in position. So imagine that you have like a key or a piece of an engine that you want to put it in an engine. You can create these kinds of interaction, and let me show you how it works. In this case, I have like two cubes here. One is, I'm going to put it full screen. I have the green cube, which I can grab with my controller. Of course, this is better in VR. I will show you in VR right now. And then whenever I approach the hole in the cube here, is letting me know that if I drop my cube, it's going to be automatically placed there as it works. This green rectangle here, it's indicating me which cubes this hole is going to admit. So for example, if I want to place my cube here, it's going to detect it and it's going to work, and I can do the same here with the red one. And you are also seeing another component that we have, which is return on drop. Whenever I drop the object, I can set that I want it to go instantly back to the place that I have grabbed it, or I could even put a delay. So if I want like a 30th or 3-second delay so the object can go back to its place, I can do that as well. And I will show you because we have it here. So in this case, if I try to put the red one, it's going to work. But if I try to put the red one here, as you can see, the system is not allowing me to do so. So this is pretty interesting because you can have like different pieces of an engine that should go in a particular order or in a particular space, and if the user is trying to connect those pieces in a place that is incorrect, you can let the user know that. Or you can just leave the user, place it incorrectly, and then evaluate it at the end. So whatever you may want. Sometimes you want to replicate processes in order to the user to learn the process, and sometimes you want to evaluate how the user knows the process. So you can do both if you want, okay? So let's jump to another components here. As you can see, we have like different examples where you can interact with objects, and you can again just copy and paste them if you want. This is again much better in VR. As you can see, I can have like total precision on how I move the objects. I can have a joystick. Let me grab it. And as you can see, imagine that I could be manipulating like a robotic industry factory arm here with a joystick. So all the movements that I'm doing with the joystick can be applied to another element in my environment. I have a dial here where I can rotate it. Let me grab it correctly. There you go. Sometimes this is why I love XR so much, because sometimes when you're trying to do things just with the regular controller, not always work. As you can see, I now have the dial and I can move it. And this is much better and much more intuitively just using the XR headset. So in this case, another slider, a wheel, a grip button, you get the idea, right? So let's go right here. This is the simple interactable ray interaction. This means that whenever I want to interact with an object that is far away, I can do it just by pointing with my controller, aim at the content, and then pressing the trigger or whatever button I want to establish. Or I can do it as well, of course, using just my keyboard and mouse. In this case, as you can see, the pointer of my mouse is turning blue whenever I hover this object. So if I click on the mouse, I'm launching another component that we have, which is the move component. I'm just launching a component that we have defined that it allows me to move an object to a specific place in a specific velocity. And this is the one thing happening right now. And we have another component to rotate objects. So we can move objects, we can rotate them, and we can scale them. As you can see, this is really great because we're going to see that later in the demo. Just with these three basic interactions, move, rotate, scale, I can apply those to a more complex 3D environment and start creating some interesting interactions. So imagine that you want to grab the piece of an engine, you want to scale it, or you want to rotate it so you can simulate like a propeller of the engine. You are going to see right now in the demo. So again, this is not like a complex process. It's just taking some time to use our predefined components, apply them to more complex 3D elements, and you are going to be creating really powerful apps that are by default multi-user and multi-device. So let's see some other examples. In this case, one of the better things about XR, and in fact, let me try it. I'm going to try it. This is live, so everything can go wrong, but I'm going to try it because this is much better when seen in XR. I'm going to go back again and check this SVR enabled box. I need to connect my XR headset again to the computer so you can see the whole process. The Meta Quest is already turned on. I think it should be working now because I'm already seeing SteamVR. So let's just press play here and see what happens. I guess you'll see me correctly. Okay. I probably will leave in the camera so you can see what exactly my moves are being while I'm doing all this. Okay, so now it's loading. Let me just put the mouse away. And as you can see, how fast it is. Now I have like total freedom when I've moved my controllers. I have a sense of scale. This is way different than when I'm looking at in the laptop because everything seems bigger, and that's something that really changed. Of course, I'm sitting down, so most of the things are going to be like really high, but let's see how this changes. So again, I can still point up at the objects, rotate them, scale them, but this, instead of just using the keyboard and mouse, I can have total freedom and I can just touch it with my hands. It's the same components that we have, the move component, the rotate component, the scale component, but it's much better when I do this with the controllers. And let's just try it for fun, this again. As you can see here, let me remember, that's it. Look how much freedom I have now to move the objects. And this is really good. Let me try the wheel. This is something that I hate doing with the mouse, but with your hand, it's so easy. And all these interactions have been created so you can take advantage of them. Now that I'm in VR, let's see some of the other, hi there, how you doing? Let's see some other elements. So we have here the XR grab interaction. We are using the XR interaction system that is built now into Unity. It's an open standard. So again, if you are a developer and you are using Unity, probably you will already knew this. And if not, you are always learning something that will be useful in the past. So if you create projects in VIROO, that project then, if you stop using VIROO in the future, we hope that you don't, but if you stop using it, it's not in a jail of that VIROO platform. You can still use many of the things that you have created for that project for whatever things you may want. So in this case, we have like kinematic movement. I can grab different elements, they can interact with them, and you have like full description of what exactly they do. You can see, we take advantage again of all the physics interactions that Unity provides. So whenever Unity launches new features, VIROO can take advantage of them. So we don't have to simulate all this stuff, okay? This has been done by Unity. This is just showing you that no matter whenever I grab this object, it's going to be placed or positioned in the correct way. So imagine this is a tool, this is like a screwdriver. It doesn't make sense that I want the user to grab the screwdriver in an incorrect orientation, right? So with this, I can always ensure that the orientation is correct. Or I can just have like a dynamic attach that no matter what I grab, it is going to respect that angle and it's going to allow me to manipulate and grab it however I want, okay? So So you can see total freedom to do stuff. So another component here, sorry if you are putting any comments, I think you are not, but I cannot see them right now, as obviously. So this is player detection. Here we have what we call a trigger. It's an invisible space that is going to detect collisions with player or with any other element. So whenever I jump inside this cube, it's going to, the system telling me that is detecting the player. So this is pretty useful because this can be applied for many things. Imagine that you are a user, you want to go through that door. So whenever I cross the door, I want something to happen. Okay, so now I can do it. This is another example. Okay, I can use the aim with my controller just to launch different events. Whenever I'm pointing at an object, imagine that I want just to show like context information about this object. This could be again like the piece of an engine, and whenever I hover, it's telling me that is the propeller and how it works, right? And again, I think this works the way that I showed you before. This is now being dropped to the floor, but it has a delay. So I can even grab the objects from the distance, I can throw them, and when I wait 3 seconds, they are going to be placed at the same time. This is good because sometimes the users can make mistakes, can maybe launch things in a specific way that are not intended, and then you can always ensure that those pieces are not going to be forgotten or loose, okay? Let me grab these. I don't know if this is with, yeah, okay. This is another cool one because this is like a mobile phone, so I can be using one of my hands to grab the object at any specific orientation, and the other I can use it to interact with it. This is something almost impossible to do with a flat screen and just one mouse, right? Because you cannot have like two simultaneous focus points in your system. So this is like information of all the people that are inside the session. You can have this information as well, and as you can see, while I'm pressing the trigger, I can even have that input, so I can just make like many register information of what is happening exactly in the environment. Another interaction, this is like activable interactives. This is something that is being hidden or is deactivated, and whenever something happens, I can activate those events. So again, whenever I press the trigger, I can turn this flame, I can get closer, look how the shadows react. Again, this is all Unity, this is not by us, and I can start interacting with my elements. Again, total freedom to interact. This is what XR provides and what can be applied to many of your work processes. This is the one thing that really changed everything about training, about designing, prototyping, whatever you may want. And with all these predefined components, you can have a better understanding on how to create this content. Let me put this away. Okay, so again, this is really cool. I don't have eye tracking here, but if you have a headset with eye tracking, you can just look at the green box and the green box will move at the same time. This is just gazing with my controller, but we can support eye tracking as well. We have here like different interface, like a regular button, a poke button that you can just poke, a slider. You can select from a list. If you are making a test inside your VR environment, you can have like a keyboard to enter like a passcode or something like that. You can even select if the password is incorrect or not, and you can just pop new objects inside your environment to work with them. We have here like example of a tic-tac-toe, so you can have like advanced logic inside your environment, and you can just use the grab interactions and the place interactions just to work with this. And this is the last one that I want to show you here in VIROOLab, which is the shooting gallery. This is interesting because this is not something that is predefined and is available for you. This is an example of if you want to create your own custom code, how you need to adapt it in order to work with VIROO. It's pretty simple, but we need to have an example here. So you can just drag and drop, you can go inside the shooting zone, and you can just start shooting at the elements, and the score is going to be updated. As you can see, with this available of freedom, aim object is much easier than just doing it with a regular keyboard and mouse. It's always fast, it's always precise. So, pretty fun. Happy that everything went great here, because we never know with live demos. So what I'm going to do right now, let's see what time is it. Okay, just what I expected. Half of the time I wanted to show you VIROOLab and the other I want to show you a demo, but I want to show you just one more thing. I'm going to go to another scene here, another that we provide, which is the VIROO avatar customization. The VIROO avatar customization, I think it's worth it if I put my headset again. Sorry about that, I'm going to launch it again. This is another scene that we provide, so because probably you have seen videos about VIROO, all the VIROO apps that we have, and we always use the predefined or by default avatars, but you can of course change them. So let me just try it because it's much better when you see these avatars moving naturally using the controllers. So let's see if this works. It's loading again. Everything is working great. I'm seeing SteamVR, and let's just wait some seconds. So again, you can create your own avatar that fits perfectly the environment that you are creating or your work processes. And let's see if this loads so I can show you. Yeah, it's loading. How this works. Oh, it crashed again. Sorry about this. This is something regarding not VIROO, not Unity, the platform that I'm using it, which is Virtual Desktop, in order to connect with, which I have it right here, in order to connect it to Unity. Let's not waste time here. Again, this is like an avatar customization I'm going to show you, but just in a flat screen. Sorry about this. It's going to allow you to load almost any 3D model that you want. We have different avatars for different applications, and we always change them to fit perfectly whatever VIROO app we are developing. If we are developing an app that takes place inside a kitchen, we always put like a chef hat, like a costume about that specific brand. And this is something that you can of course do. You don't have to use our predefined or by default avatars. If you don't want to invest time, you can of course. If you don't do anything, you are going to be prompted with the default avatars, which they look great and they are like pretty standard and natural, so they just work fine. Let's see if Unity loads again. I want to show you just how it works, the change avatar action, and then go right straight away to make that demo with the interactions. I'm going to have a look at the chat. I think there are no questions right now. No worries about that. Okay, we are 25 minutes in, and let's see. Again, I'm working with my laptop. I'm going to close SteamVR, which always takes a huge impact on performance, and then I should expect Unity to open quick again. You can have already existing Unity projects and you can adapt them normally pretty easily to VIROO. So if you already are working on something and you want to adapt those projects to Unity, we have like a full documentation on how to do that, how to use all the predefined components that I'm showing you right now. And this is pretty fast. So again, the good thing about working with Unity is that you are not close to a specific content creation workflow. You're working just with almost which is a standard, and many of your works are going to be usable for the future, or your past works can be adapted to VIROO. So now, let's jump here. Let me show you this pretty quick. This is not the predefined, the default avatar. This is the one that we created here for the VIROOLab, so you can have like different options. So if anyone wants to join and wants to change his appearance, they can, of course. And whenever I click in the mirror, I am going to get like different avatars depending on what I want to do. This is the VIROO default avatar. So if you don't touch anything, this is the one that you are going to get, which again, I think it looks pretty great. So if you don't change anything, it's going to work just fine. Now the important part, let's go right now to the flat engine demo that I wanted to show you. So this is the VIROO lobby. This is one of the environments that we provide that is going to allow you to drop 3D models. If you don't want to worry about the environment, you can always use this, or you can change the whole environment if you want. So if you remember, if you were present in the past webinar, I created like a demo with this car where I created some interactions, but they were like pretty fast. So I want to create new ones. One of the ones that we have seen before, using and showing you the whole process. Okay, there are not going to be many interactions again because we don't have that much time, but I wanted to show you with a different 3D model and what kinds of things you can expect to do with VIROO in just a matter of minutes or hours. So this is like a plain engine, and I want to make like different interactions. I want to create an interaction that I can grab the propeller and put it in the correct place. And I want to create an interaction that whenever I press a button, is going to explode the engine and it's going to move like different parts. And then another one that allows me to scale that engine. And of course, if I press another one to turn on the engine, it's going to activate the rotation on the propeller. So let's go right in. And first of all, I want to put the propeller here. So this is like the start place, and then I'm going to need to grab this object. So for that, I need to start going to the inspector, which is the place where I'm going to add different components. So in this case, these are the components that comes with Unity, and we have here like the VIROO folder with all the predefined components that we have created for you. We have actions, we have the XR grabbable interaction system, interactions, we have menus, player start position to change where the player starts, sorry about that, or even the teleport system. So in this case, I want to make this object grabbable, right? So for that, we are going to create the, I'm going to search for it, because you can do both things. You can search here, okay, if you want, or you can just go through the list. Here, let me do it again. VIROO grab and see the VIROO XR grabbable interactable or the VIROO XR grab return and drop. This is where you are going to get that movement that is going to take your object going to its original place, okay? So in this case, whenever I add something from the VIROO Interaction System, you are going to have this message, and it's going to give you in real time instructions of what else you need to do in order to configure this properly. So in this case, it's telling you that it's necessary to add a grab interaction component, okay? So I just need to press on here, add XR grabbable interactable, and now it's also adding a rigid body, which is something that is going to give physics to my object, and in this case I'm going to check this box, which is kinematic, because if not, the object is going to fall down due to gravity and it's going to go through the floor. So just by doing this, let me just press on play to see if this is working now. It could take a while, depending if it's the first time that it loads. Normally it can take a while, but now since I have closed SteamVR, is going to do it much faster. So I can go here, let me try to grab my engine, and as you can see it, I can have it now. In a matter of seconds, I have just created a grabbable object, and now my propeller, I can move it around, and again, this is just working in 2D, but remember how much freedom I have when I'm using my controller. So I need to change some things, because as you can see, this is not using the dynamic attach. So whenever I'm grabbing it, it's going to be placed correctly, or what it thinks it's correctly. So in this case, I'm going to change that, because I want to be able to place it in a correct place. So first thing, I'm going to go to the XR grab interactable, and I'm going to use the dynamic attach. The next thing I want to do is I need to create a socket. Remember that when I showed you the demo using the cubes that need to be placed, that was called like a socket interactor. A socket is like a place that you prepare in order to place another object there. So let's just do that. So in this case, I can search for the XR socket interactor. No, sorry, I need to place it here. So I need to specify wherever, which place I want to put that socket. So in this case, I'm going to create it. I'm going to create a new object, and I'm going to call it socket propeller socket. It's better, propeller socket. I'm going to create a box collider. This is again, I'm going to make it a trigger. This is something that is going to allow me to detect whenever a specific object goes through this and hits this particular box. So in this case, I'm going to just scale it. So I'm telling you, the user, that I want to bring the propeller to its correct place. So I just place it here, And then now I can add the XR socket interactor. So here I have like different events that I can launch whenever I'm working with the socket, and I need to specify which element I want to drag and drop here, because I don't want every object in my environment to be reacting to the socket interactor. So for that, I can just search for the VIROO XR socket interactor, and I'm going to specify that I want this object to be detecting the propeller. I will put just the name here, so I need to go now to my propeller. Let's go just here, and then let's go to the XR grab interactable, and I think it was like here. Let me just search for the name. This happens always when I'm doing, sorry about this, or I think, let me just, one moment, let me search, because when I'm doing some things live, I always forget something. I have like the full demo here prepared, so I'm going to search for my propeller to see what I'm forgetting. I don't remember exactly where, flat engine here, this is it. The propeller, where it is, the propeller. I have here the sockets, as you can see, propeller socket, everything is configured as well. I have also here like the interactions already prepared, and then I'm going to search for my propeller, which is here. Okay, so the propeller here has different actions that I have added before. The XR grab interactable, which is the one that I created. And then let's see, I have here the VIROO XR grab interactable. So in the same way that I included the VIROO XR socket interactable, I need to add this to my propeller. So it works with the VIROO network, and I can identify what name exactly it has. So let's go back to my propeller, and let's add the VIROO XR socket interactor. In this case, let me put the name again, and no, sorry, that's it, is the VIROO XR. Let's search again, let's grab interact, this is. Okay, and now with the tag filters, I can add the name. Sorry about that. I always get confused with the names. Now, this object has like the VIROO XR grab interactable, and I specified like a specific place. So in this case, it should be able to collide with the other trigger and activate it and be placed whenever I release. Let's see if this works. If not, because sometimes I forget something when I'm doing live, I could just show you the complete demo, but you are getting like an understanding of how to use the interactions, okay? So in this case, I'm going to just grab the object. As you can see, it's working with the dynamic attach, and then whenever I go here, and if it touches the socket, something is still missing. Let me just do that again. With its trigger, it has, okay, the collider, the rigid body, okay, the propeller, and then again, let's go to my socket interactor, propeller socket, there you go. Oh, let's see if everything is inside root. Okay, everything always needs to be inside root. And then let's see if I'm getting some errors here. Okay, XR socket, propeller, everything is named the same way. Let's see, I think it is. Propeller, let's see. Okay, let's just try the demo. This is how you create the actions. Okay, again, no open Visual Studio. You don't need to code at all, okay? But sometimes, again, probably I will see the video later and I understand when I'm failing, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to activate the current demo that I have prepared like hours before. This is all the things that I wanted to create, okay? And again, let's see how this works in real time, and then I'm going to go through every specific object and how has been configured. But all the process is always the same. You need to drag and drop your 3D object, no matter if it's a CAD file that you have converted, no matter if it's a 3D model that you have modeled yourself or you have obtained it scanning any element. And then once you have your 3D element inside Unity, you can start adding components, configure them in the correct way, and investing some time in order to create these interactions. And again, all these interactions, without having to worry about that, are going to be spread through the network and are going to be multi-user and multi-device compatibly. So again, you're seeing it right now? Okay. Let's just grab my propeller. Let's get close to the engine. As you can see, now that I have this prompt, I can place the object and it's working. And then I can go to start my engine. This makes a little bit of noise. I can turn it off. And as you are seeing it, these are multiple things that are happening here. I'm using the ray interaction to interact it from a distance, but I'm interacting with a button that is connected with an action through that specific 3D object. Whenever I interact with this button, it's going to launch what we call a rotate continuously action, which is going to rotate that 3D model. This is not even an animation. You could create an animation and launch it, but the only thing I did was just to create a continuously rotating action where I can specify the velocity and in what a specific angle is going to rotate, and I'm going to apply it to my propeller because this is the same way a propeller works, as you can see. And I can pause it. And if you are hearing it, which I hope you are, you can always add sounds. So whenever something happens, you can play a sound as well. And both actions can happen at the same time. So in this case, I'm going to explore the engine. And again, this is like basic interactions. I'm just moving objects, and then I can move them apart if I want. The propeller is going to stay in place, but the rest of the parts are going to move to the specific point I said. And this is great because when you are in VR, you can now have like a better understanding on how every piece looks, how everything works. And I can even have like, I touched the engine. This is great because it has not gravity, but I can grab it again and place it just right here. And then I can have like a better understanding of all the pieces. I could grab them, I could place it, I could ask the user to put the engine in the correct place. And then once that I have that, I can make it, of course, I have here like a text that says a scale, but I can scale it. So I can take a look, not a one-to-one scale, but even bigger, something that wouldn't be possible in real life. So I can now have like much more detail of every element. And then I can scale it again. And just to finish, I could even have like a video here. This is pretty simple. Again, in a matter, I did it yesterday. It took me like probably an hour because I had to rethink some things. An hour opening Unity, dropping the 3D element, preparing some of the interactions, launching the video, and let me just guide you how it works. We have like 5 to 10 minutes to compensate the minutes that I took from the beginning. So let's go again. Let's go to our propeller and what the things that we have here. We have the rotate continuously action that I've just showed you, which is basically a component that I've been added. Then I specify which element inside my hierarchy I want to rotate. In this case, I just drag and drop it, or I could even select it from the list. I specify in which angle I want it to rotate just by putting a 1 in that angle. The rest are going to just be still. And then I can add a speed. In this case, I put 1500 of speed because it was the one that looks like natural to me whenever you're looking at the propeller. And then I create like different play sound actions. So whenever the engine is turning on, I have a sound for that. And when the engine is turning off, I have a sound for that as well. Then I have the XR grabbable interactable, which allows me to grab the propeller in the first place and place it. For that, in order to place it, remember, we have the VIROO XR grabbable interactor, so I could give it a name, and then it will be detected by the socket interactor that I showed you before. This network object is the component that you just need to include it in order so that thing that you are moving is going to be transmitted to the rest of the users in your session. So whenever you are moving something, all the rest of the users are going to see that. This is something that may be easy, but if you want to do it yourself, it can take a while. So this is one of the values that VIROO provides. And then let's see, I have like a collider, so I could detect when the user is actually touching the element and allow it to grab. In this case, let's go to the buttons to see how this works. This is pretty easy. This is just like some boxes that I created with some text. If I go through the engine, I have here like a canvas. I have a text that I could change. In fact, let's change this to see what happened, because I have the scale. Oh, this is something that was I have to drag and drop the door canvas here. This was called door canvas because it was from the car. So the text needs to be inside a canvas in order to be easy, and that's what's happening. And I can change this live. So this is how quick you can start creating things. Let's see how the buttons actually work. So in this case, I have a box which has the shape of a cube. I have the mesh renderer, which is the component that Unity provides so it's visible to the user. I can change its material if I want. So imagine that I want like different materials. This is so fast to do, and you can create, of course, your own materials, or you can even change the material if the button has been pressed, so you know that something has taken place in your environment. I have a box collider, so it can detect the gaze of my controller whenever I want to interact with it. And then, of course, I have the XR Simple Interactable, which is going to allow me to launch events depending on what is going to happen with this button. So if I just hover it, if I touch it, if I grab it, whenever something happens, in this case is when I activate that button, when I point at it and press the trigger, it's going to launch different things. In this case, it's going to launch the rotate continuously action. The only thing I need to do is just to drag and drop the object, which contains the action, access its components, in this case, the rotate continuously action, and select execute. In this case, local execute, and then it's going to launch an action again, a sound again, sorry. So same way, I just drag and drop my propeller, I go inside, I search for the play sound action, which is here, and then I say local execute. And then it's going to launch that sound as well. And whenever I press the button again, it's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to turn off the continuously action, so the engine is stopped. It's going to play the sound that is letting me hear that the engine is actually stopping, and then it's going to take that action as well. For the Explore, pretty simple. This is just, again, an XR Simple Interactable that whenever I press the trigger, is going to launch 4 actions at the same time. It's going to move the propeller, move the cylinders, move the support, and move the exhaust. These actions I have created here, which are basically empty objects that I added just one thing, the move action. I created an, let's do it live. So imagine I want to create a new one, move propeller 2. So you can have a better understanding of how it works, and we can end it with that. I go to the VIROO Interaction System, I go into Actions, I'm going to select Move here, and then again, of all the elements that I can change, the only ones that probably I need is just to select the target, which is my propeller, select here, and then its position. How I determine that? So in this case, I want to just select my propeller, I'm going to move it like right here, copy that position, press Ctrl C, and then go back to my new action and select right click, paste. So that I'm going to put local, so it's going to move locally, not regarding all the environment. And reverse after play is that when I want that object to go back to its original place, if I interact with it again, and then I can take like 3 seconds of time, and I can even give it like an animation from the in and the out, so it's not like a linear moment, and it's like a more natural moment. Now I have created that action, and I could go to my button and change the action. Is going to launch this specific action. So again, pretty basic actions that when applied and combined with 3D models, you can start creating really interesting things. And let me just end with the video so you can see how easy this is. This is just like an object that I created, which is, let me go down here, which is includes like a mesh in the form of a quad or a cube, whatever you may want to use, a mesh renderer, so it's visible. I even specify a particular material, so it's going to allow me to play some videos on it, and this is pretty easy to change. And then I added the play video action, which is again the VIROO Interaction System component that we have included, so you can launch videos pretty easily. That automatically inserts another component, which is the video player component, and the only thing you need to do is search in your whole process, in your whole project, sorry, the video that you want to launch, and then whenever you access this component and launch its event, it's going to play the video. If you need to uncheck this box, because if not, it's going to be wake, it's going to be played on awake the first time you just enter the session. So if you just uncheck that, you can access it whenever you want and play the video. So the idea with this demo was actually to have like an environment where you can see that the user jumps in, he needs to put a specific part of the engine on the correct place, then he can interact with the engine to have a better understanding of how it works, and you could even have a video explaining the user what exactly is happening here. So everything that I wanted to show you here today. Sorry for the things that went wrong during the live, that normally happens. But I think that we have like a better understanding of what exactly you can do with VIROO, how you can access to all the catalog of predefined components that we have in VIROO Lab, how you can change the avatar, and how you can combine those interactions with 3D objects to create the application you just need. Remember, all the content that you are creating in VIROO is going to be multi-user, is going to be playable on every mainstream headset in the market, even in a laptop using the keyboard and mouse. You don't have to worry about that. You just publish your application, upload it to the cloud. It's going to be spread through all the executables, which are called the single players, which are the desktop applications that you are going to launch and join the sessions. And we are now launching the standalone versions of that. So if you have an app, you can publish a standalone version, so it works just with your Quest. You don't need a computer anymore, but you are going to take care of all the distribution of the app if you want to share it with the rest of your colleagues. And again, you can apply the XR across all your value chain. You can use for training, it can be used for designing, prototyping, promotion, whatever you may want. You just purchase a VIROO license, so they can be used by many people inside your organization. They are floating licenses. So imagine that you want to have 10 people at the same time in the session. You just purchase 10 licenses, but they can be used for many more people inside your organization. So imagine that they can be used in the morning in the US for 10 people, but then in Europe, the next day are going to be used them by different teams, by 10 different other people. And you don't have to worry about that. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar. We'll see you next month with many more things. I want to show you and guide you how the visual scripting works. So let's hope that I could make that for the next webinar. And I hope that you find this interesting. And again, if you are not using XR or integrating that in your organization, probably it's late. So VIROO is probably the only platform you'll ever need to do that. Thanks again. I'll see you next webinar, which is next month. Bye-bye.